Good morning. Welcome to day 5. We are live again, day 5, and the week is over already. Can you believe it? 5 days just ticks right by. I'm sure most of you are waking up wondering how it got to be Friday already and wondering what you did all week. Don't worry, that happens to all of us. But if you start implementing the stuff we learned this week, you should get control of your time, and that way take it back over. As always, I am streaming from StreamYard into Facebook. So above this video, you will see something that says allow StreamYard access to your comments. Do that so that I can see you. I can see your comments come through. Excuse me. I can see your comments come through, but I like to see your name and your picture. That way I know who I'm talking to. Because if not, it just says Facebook user. And I don't talk to Facebook users. I talk to my friends. So let me see your pictures. Allow StreamYard access to your comments. And let's dig into content today. This is going to be a fun day because I know there are a lot of people out there that have wasted or are wasting money on CRMs that you're not using or that you've been trying to figure out how to use and can't seem to make it work. So today's going to be a big day because Anne herself, which a lot of you have heard me say Anne over and over now, Anne is about ready to join the 100K club. And she's literally less than $2,000 off. And she has been using this CRM that I'm going to give you guys today for free. So she's been using this free software to manage all of her leads to hit her first 100K. And she had struggled with Podio and different platforms before. I myself have built out full year-long automations inside of FreedomSoft and worked with other CRMs with clients one-on-one. So I'm pretty familiar with a lot of different ones, and I've built some pretty robust automations in them. But the problem is if they are too robust, too awesome, they have too many good features, because that's usually the problem. They have way too much amazing stuff that they can do. And it causes a learning loop. It causes a downward spiral of learning and tech and trying to build automation as opposed to doing the business. So I'm going to simplify all that for you today. I'm going to get rid of the monthly expenses so that you can use this for free and you don't have to pay for anything. And I'm going to make it super simple and clear to where you'll know exactly how to run it and you'll be up and running by the end of the training if you were able to do it during the training. It's literally like 30 minutes and you're ready to go. So today, though, bear with me a little bit because we have a tropical storm rolling in here to Florida. So if for some reason I disappear, I lose signal, just pay attention to the group and I will jump back in and go live again. So just in case like we lose power or something like that, I want to kind of preempt you guys so that you know, hey, it might happen. And if it does, don't worry. I'm just going to jump back in and go live as soon as we fire up the computer and everything else. So it might take 5-10 minutes or so. Usually if the power drops, it drops and it comes right back. So just keep an eye on the group and we'll fire you up. If you're watching on YouTube, there is a Facebook group. It is basically Facebook, and then just search for your first 100K 5-day challenge. And we'll see you inside there. All right. So day 1, we talked about getting super clear on what you do, super focused, getting rid of everything else, picking your one thing. What do you do? I am a systems creator for new and struggling wholesalers to help you get to your first 100K. Okay, that is my one thing. That is what I do. So everything I do revolves around making systems for wholesalers to get to their first 100K and build a scalable business along the way. Okay, what is your primary thing, your one thing? You help fix and flippers find their next deal. Okay, it's super simple. The one thing from day 1. Day 2 was how are we talking to people? How are we taking that one thing and how do we present it to people so that they respond in a way that we want them to? Day 3, we set up our profile, right? To where we could talk to people in other people's Facebook groups in a way that appeals to them and adds value to them and helps them out and lets them know that we do this so that they'll come back to our Facebook profile. And our profile very clearly directs them somewhere where you want them to go. Most of you I see are going to Facebook Messenger, and that's great. Facebook loves it when you keep people on their platform. So anytime you link somebody outside of Facebook, Facebook's not going to reward that post or drive traffic to that post. So anytime you're keeping people on Facebook by coming to your profile, they creep you and they see that, hey, you're helping fix and flippers find their next deal, or you're looking for deals. And they know that. And then you're like, shoot me a message in Messenger. Here's my link. And they click that link and it just takes them to Facebook Messenger. You're keeping them in the Facebook Messenger platform. You're keeping them on Facebook. So Facebook will help reward that interaction and it will help drive you traffic over time. So it'll make it easier for people to find you and end up in your Messenger that way. So that's a good thing. And I've noticed some of you are posting your homework and actually getting your profiles done. That's awesome. Keep going, keep driving. If you've noticed the people that are saying like, here's my homework, here's what I've been doing, they're getting a few comments from other people. That's because other people are encouraged when they see people that are in the challenge with them actually doing it. So if you're taking action on this stuff yourself, then post it in the group so that everybody can see it, because it shouldn't just be me inspiring people. You guys are here to inspire each other as well. Grow and inspire other people. That's what we're here for. So day 4, we took the translation of day 1 through 3 and said, now that we know what we're doing, we know who we're doing it for, and we know how to speak to them. Day 4 is more of the operations side of it, right? I gave you the Trello team management board where you can log your logins, your company information, your training schedule, and your daily checklist for things that you need to do each day. And right now, if you're a solopreneur, that is how you manage your business. You build checklists in there, you put your logins in there, and that's how you actually run and organize your company. That way, it's all in one spot. You set one alarm on your phone that tells you, hey, check your Trello operations board or your Trello deal board. You jump in there and you've got a checklist of what you do for the day. And I told you about Hubstaff so that you could track your time, so you know exactly where you're spending your time. Because if you don't track your time and respect it and protect it, nobody else will. Like the world will just take it from you. They'll tell you, we need this done. We need this done. We need this done. We need this done. And anytime you jump at the world and what they're telling you to do, you're basically letting them run your life. Okay. You have to block your time. You have to respect your time. Hubstaff, if you log in and start your projects, it will show you exactly how much time you're spending where throughout your day. And all you have to do is start and stop it for your projects as you're working on them. And it will track what you have going on. It's free for one person, right? And then as you bring in a team, if you're using the boards that I give you with Trello and the board I'm going to give you today for tracking your leads, then when you're ready to have a spouse or a child or a virtual assistant come help you, they'll be able to step right in and know right where all your logins are, right where your company training schedule is, right where your company culture is and your elevator pitch. They'll know what you're about, and you'll be able to very clearly and easily say, this is how we do it. And then they can step in and follow the checklist. As we had the interview with Aini, she said they operate the best off of checklists. And let me tell you something, you do too. You don't realize it, but you do too. If we have a step-by-step in front of us, do this, then do this, then do this, then do this, it is so much easier than trying to figure it out on the fly. The problem with trying to figure it out on the fly is you end up flying everywhere. We end up chasing squirrels, chasing rabbits, you don't get anything done. Or you end up squashing mice instead of slaying dragons. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that before, but most of us run around in our day doing really easy things to get done that we know we can get done quick and easy, but they're not the big dragons that are money-making tasks. They're little mice running around. They're little mice running around the room, and we spend all of our day chasing these little mice and squashing mice, getting little projects done, or little tasks like, oh, I checked my email, now I feel good. I made one phone call, now I feel good. And instead of looking at the big picture creator mindset of slaying the dragon of creating something that draws traffic into you so that more people come to you over and over and over and brings you more deals and more leads. And a lot of times that's because we're scared. We're scared of success, not failure. Most of us, when you actually dig into it, you are not afraid of failing because you'd end up right where you are. If we're trying to build something new and go someplace we've never been, success will take us somewhere new and different and unknown. And that's what's scary. Failure keeps us right where we're at. And so a lot of us aren't afraid of failing. We think we are, but we're afraid of succeeding and going on past it and then not knowing what to do. And that's the power behind creating the systems. Having the deal board, having the projects and operations board, knowing exactly how to operate everything. It takes where you're going and it doesn't make it unknown. It makes it to where you know where you're going and you know what you're going to do when you get there. So now it starts to remove the fear, which allows us to move forward. And if we're doing that ourselves, day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4, actually setting that clarity up and putting the systems in place to run it and organize it for ourselves, it's very easy and clear when you think about, you know what, I might need some help and hire a team, or so-and-so wants to help me. How could I use them? It's like, well, I have this. I could teach them how to do this for me, and then they take it over. Because you know how to do it, it's so much clearer and easier and simpler and less fearful to move forward into growth, into doing the right things. That's the power of clarity, right? Okay, so that brings us up to where we're at today. Now we've got the process. We know what we're doing, how we're doing it, who we're doing it for, and the way we're setting it up is going to work on for virtual assistants and team members. Now, today, let's say we start interacting on Facebook groups and leads start coming into Messenger. Now, what do you do with them? Well, of course, you're going to work the relationship, talk to them, and try to get the deal done, right? But how do you follow up? How do you track your follow-up to make sure you don't miss somebody? Do you just plug it into your calendar? What's the best way to do it? Well, as soon as you jump on YouTube, every guru out there is going to tell you, hey, get Freedom Soft, get Podio, get Beast Mode, get all these different ones, right? There's tons of CRMs out there. And newsflash, all of them are awesome. They are. All of them are amazing. But this is where I focus on your first 100K. You don't need them for your first 100K. And the reason I say that is because it's going to cost you a couple $100 a month to get them. I don't want you to spend a couple $100 a month, because what happens is if you spend a couple $100 a month on your CRM and you spend $100 a month on your Carrot websites, and then you spend $100 a month on PropStream so that you can pull data, and then you spend $100 or let's say $100 a month on Mojo Dialer so you can make 1 million phone calls. What is that? We're like $600 a month. How many of you could spend $600 a month on business expenses with no guarantee of a deal for the next 4 months to where you could consistently spend $600 a month just for software to run your company for the next 4 months while you try to get your first deal? Because on average, it takes 90 days to close a deal from cold to close. On average, some people do it quicker, but it's more on the lucky side. It does happen, but the average means the vast majority. There's a few that close quick and a few that take long, and the vast majority is around that 90 days. So how many could spend $600 a month on business expenses for 4 months and not feel stressed and backed into a corner like, if I don't get a deal this month, I can't pay the bills and keep my software going next month. And then you're just basically spent $600 a month for 4 months. And now you're out of money and you're out of time and you're stressed. And it's like you're backed into a corner. You can't think progressively and be a creator and move forward when you're backed into a corner and you're trying to survive. Okay, that's what we're getting rid of. I want you guys to understand, I've been where you are. Every single person I've ever worked with has been where you are. And typically I'm like, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. Let's simplify this down. Let's free your mind. Let's simplify the process to where it works for you. So when I say all the software is good, yes, it's good when you can get a dedicated person on tech to run it while you or someone else is getting leads and closing leads, when you actually get a team that can help. But right off the bat, all you need to do is put some money in your bank. Start putting money in your bank. Don't worry. Don't be racking up monthly expenses. Okay. It's very easy for me to tangent on this. Sorry, because I fell into this trap and I was spending like $700 a month on lists and software and skip tracing and all this stupid stuff right off the bat. And I never used it because I did all my deals through these 3 realtors and these 3 cash buyers, but I was still buying the software because all the gurus said to, and I didn't know anything different. And even a few years into it, I was still buying software and building tons of automation that was beautiful, but the human element still wouldn't run it properly. And so it ended up being a waste of money because our team wasn't built right on the actual systems that manage and train the team. There wasn't a clarity in the process. And that's what I've mastered here. That's what I've started to bring into play and put into pieces that are super simple to where they work. Okay? So understand, I'm not talking bad about the software. I'm talking bad about the software at the place in your journey that you are. If you're still struggling to hit your first 100K and you don't have a consistent model set up and you're just like fighting from one to the next and you're not sure what you're doing, then like this is who we're after. This is what we're solving. If you're already doing $1 million a year and you've got software in place and it's working great for you, then honestly, like, why are you here? This isn't your challenge. This isn't your week. Like, you may get some good stuff out of this, but ultimately they're up and running already. Okay. So I'm making this to where it works for you in the real world with no money so that you don't have to worry about freaking out next month if you don't get a deal and not being able to pay your bills. Imagine the freedom of being like, my business expenses are zero. So if I don't get a deal this month, I've still got my job. I'm still making my W-2 money. And if I get a deal, it's just extra money. And if I don't, that's okay. I'm still going to be all right. I can keep trying the next month and I can keep trying the next month because at some point things start to click and things start to fall into place. You learn new stuff and it all starts to mesh. And that's when things start to compound and grow and move forward. But it comes from consistency. And so I need to get you to where your business is operating so simply that you can do it consistently enough, long enough to allow it to kick in and work for you. Because if we figure your first deal is 4 months away, most people are going to get tired and bored within 30 days and they're going to give up and walk away. Even if they buy something, 85% of people won't finish a course that they pay for unless there's accountability or coaching along with it that is like keeping them in check, right? So like most people give up in 30 days or they shiny object and they chase the next thing in 30 days, the next thing in 30 days. Well, if it takes 4 months, 4 30-day periods, people might try 3 or 4 different things instead of trying one thing for 4 months long enough for it to start to work. Okay. You see the difference? Instead of trying something new every 30 days, trying to find what works, pick one, stick with it for the whole 4 months, and it's simpler. It's easier. And it gets easier and easier to do it because you're only doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. You do one thing over and over. You become a master of it. Master of one thing, right? Not a jack of all trades. I grew up in a small town, 2,000 people. If you wanted something done right, you did it yourself, period. I was the jack of all trades, master of none for most of my life. I was the handyman. I can build a house from the ground up. Done disaster relief projects and helped other people. I've done everything in construction and handyman and everything growing up. I can do every bit of the process. I didn't start making real money until I became the investor who stopped doing all of those other things and just focused on lining up the money and working the deal. And as soon as I did that, that was the first time I ever experienced $10,000 months. And I was like, holy crap, like where I grew up and come from, nobody makes 10K a month. I mean, like they just don't. You work your own business and you barely get by and that was it. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's where you want to be. But I was like, how do I make more, do more, and help more people? And so that was the first time I really experienced it, was putting those pieces in play, right? And so I want to get you guys to the point where it's so simple and easy that you're moving forward and you're progressing and you're growing outside of what you think is possible so that you can then continue in a stress-free, consistent workspace. Okay. That's the only way that you're going to stick with it long term. And I want to help you stick with it long term. Simplify. Do one thing, do it consistently, and it will work for you and it will grow and it will start to compound and get even more and more consistent and easier as you go. Okay. So that's what we're working on today. So today I am going to jump in and I'm going to go ahead and show you the deal board, which is in Trello, just like our team management board that we used yesterday. Okay. So today I'm going to screen share and I'm going to show you the Trello board. And then we are going to dive in. I'm going to show you exactly how to work this thing and how to use it and get the most out of it. But before we do, I'm going to make sure, do you guys have any questions? Do you guys have anything that's come up this week that you feel like is just like burning on your mind and you want to get it answered? Is this good so far? Are you hearing and understanding what I'm saying when I say simplifying everything is going to make it easier? Are you getting the idea of how doing one thing for 4 months is actually easier, less stressful, and is going to get you a better result than trying something new every 30 days? It's kind of counterintuitive because we think if something's not working, jump to the next thing. But is it making sense? Put it in the comments. You know, I like to see the comments. I like to hear what you're I like to hear your feedback and what you're thinking. Okay. This is the Trello deal board. And as I told you yesterday about the team management board, this is the same way. This is a live, interactive, real-time board. Okay. So the power of that is you can bring in a virtual assistant or your wife or your kids or anybody. They can open their own Trello account for free and you can add them to the board and they will be able to access it and make real-time changes for you. And you could open it on your cell phone from somewhere else and see the real-time changes. So we have actually had our team meetings and we make changes on the Trello board while I'm looking at it just like this. Someone else could make changes on the board and they would instantly show up like while we're on our meeting. So while we're on Zoom, we could be like working together and updating leads and stuff like that as we're working together on the team, and then and see what each other's doing so that we're moving forward as a team, which is really cool. But at the same time, I need you guys to do the first thing and copy this board to your account. I want you to own it in your business, your account, so you're not dependent on Aaron. Okay. At Sunday evening, the live trainings and these Trello boards go away. You lose access to them. You won't get them on Monday unless you got the VIP access pass. Okay. So I need you to copy them now because every Monday following a challenge, I have people sending me messages, Aaron, where'd the lives go? So I'm trying to make sure I tell you over and over and over that they're going to be gone. Okay. It's not false scarcity. I do take them away. So first things first, when you get this board, you're going to copy it to your account. Super easy process. I'm going to show you how to do that again right now. In the top right corner where it says show menu, you're going to click on that. It's going to open up the menu, come down to the more button with the 3 dots. You're going to click copy board. Copy the board, name it your business name and deal board. So I'll call it VIP deal board. You're going to make sure that it's on your workspace and then keep the cards and keep the template cards checked so that it copies all of these cards that are on the board. Then you're going to hit create. Okay, I want you to pay attention real quick before we hit create. You see up here at the top, right in the middle, there's all these different circles and it says plus 41. There's like 50 people that have access to this board right now. And it's showing all of their circles and all of their names up top because we're seeing that all of these people are on this board. So if you come in and you grab this board, you're going to see all those people at the top of the board before you copy it. Up in the left corner, it's going to say your first 100K deal board. And it's going to say A1, your first 100K. This is the workspace. So if you see those things right there, right? When we copy this, it's going to go into your account, into your workspace, and you'll be the only person on it. So when I hit create, you'll see it'll take just a second and then the screen will flash and the board looks exactly the same. But if we look up top now, the little share button, there's only one picture and it's mine. I'm the only person on this board now. Now this board is in my account. When you hit copy, it'll now be in your account and your picture will be the only one up top. And then whatever you named the board, it'll have your new name right there. Okay. So now that we do that, now you can change the background image and you can get rid of this start thing if you want. But what I want you to see here, we're going to dig into the board now. Okay. We're going to dig into the board now, and I'm going to make sure you understand how to use this thing so that you're up and running your leads. And then in this first column, I actually have the training videos built into this board. So if you copy this to your account to where you own it, you will have the 6 videos that teach you how to use it and get the most out of it and everything for free, just for showing up for this training. Okay. This challenge. Okay. So to give you a quick rundown, like we went yesterday, the entire screen that you are seeing is called a board, a Trello board. On the Trello board, there are lists. Each one of these capitalized letters on the gray box, the big gray box, is a list. So this is a video training list. Wholesalers list. Cash buyers list. Leads being analyzed list. And if we scroll to the right, I've built in phases of the deal. Okay. So there's seller contacted, negotiations, follow up. There's send contract, contract sent, contract signed. And if you keep going to the right, there's basically every stage of the deal all the way to closed with the title company, profit deposited, and a lost deal category. Okay. So these are all different lists and they are all set up as the part of the deal from start to finish. Okay. So I've built them in there to where you just copy this and it's done. Now, each one of these white cards is a card in a list. So this is the new wholesaler template card in the wholesalers list. Okay. This is a new buyer template card in the cash buyers list. Okay. That's the basic layout of what you need to understand for Trello in order to run this. Now, if we look at column 1, naturally the priority button, if you open that up, it's going to say, copy this board to your account with the checklist below. And there's a step-by-step checklist that shows you how to copy the board into your account. Okay. Now there's also a video that shows you how to use this board and gives you a broad overview like what I'm telling you right now. So as long as you get this copied before Sunday, you'll have the training video that'll show you how to reuse this so that you can remember what it is I'm telling you now. Now in this video training list, underneath, you'll see 6 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each one of these, if you open it up, has a training video. How to add a lead to the deal board. How to track your leads. How to create a checklist. How to add and set due dates. These are the things that I'm going to show you how to do right now. But once you copy this to your account after the challenge, if you choose to never work with me again and I never hear from you, I wanted to make sure that you had everything you need so that you know how to operate this thing. So that it's not some free download that you got from free training and then you went on and you join the next challenge and you completely forget about it and you don't know how to use it. Okay. So I wanted to make sure if I never hear from you again, you know how to use it. These 6 videos will show you 7 videos with your welcome video up top. These 7 videos will show you how to use this board and you will have everything you need from this week with the team management board I gave you yesterday and the deal board that I gave you today. This will be everything that you need to be able to manage and run your business. And if you actually start doing the process that I taught you this week, you can organically, which means no monthly expenses, connect the dots, line up deals, and make money. Okay? I need you to understand that because it's important. It's important for you to understand this isn't some BS freebie that I'm giving you just for showing up just because I threw this together last night. This is 4 years of working with people one-on-one and figuring out what's the easiest way that actually makes this usable for people. And this is what I've found people actually have consistency in because you won't run out of money and it's not too complicated. You're not going to get stuck with tech issues. It's so easy to use. You're not going to have tech issues. You're just going to be like, oh, I'll just do this instead because I can't remember how to do that. And it'll still work for you. Okay. So you can make some mistakes and it'll still work for you good. So You have everything built in here to be able to use this with those 7 training videos. And then I built in templates for a new lead. So if you decide to go direct to seller, or if you're partnering with other investors and you happen across direct to seller, then you've got a new lead template for direct to seller. When you get a new cash buyer and you want to set a follow-up and everything for them, your new cash buyer template. When you're connecting with other wholesalers, other investors, a new wholesaler template. I built these 3 templates so that you would know how to organize your information. Okay. If you click on any one of these cards, it opens it up and expands it to where we can see all the details. So the new wholesaler template, we open it up. It's very simple. You're going to add the contact information for the person that you're talking to. Okay. You just click in the box and it makes it an editable format like a Word document or a Google Doc. And then you simply just start typing in your stuff. Okay. And you can delete it and everything else. Now, remember what I told you about anytime you click inside of a description, it's going to highlight everything automatically. And if you make a mistake and you tap the space bar or something, it deletes everything. And your instant reaction is, oh crap, I just deleted everything. What was in there? Just hit Command Z on your keyboard and it will bring everything back, and then click outside of it so it unhighlights and then go back to typing. And it doesn't matter when you do it. Okay. If you go, if you're already typing, you're adding somebody's name and you do something like this and you're like, oh, wait, I didn't want to do that. Command Z, you see that it removed the last letter. I do it again, it removed the next letter. You can Command Z and it'll go back and it'll like remove quite a few steps. Just removed all of that. Just Command Z, 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 Z. Okay. So it will work. Even if you like didn't realize you made a mistake, you can jump back and like just go back. Okay. So it makes it super easy to use. The same with the new buyer template. If we click on it, open it up, it's going to have the basic information. And then here's where the beauty starts with this new leads being analyzed. If we open this one up, I have actually built the training right here into the card for you. So there is a step-by-step how to use this card and copy it for a new lead. And then if we scroll down, I have built in the information that you want to collect for a lead, for a property. So this is built in for you so that you don't have to try and remember what it is that you're supposed to talk to them about. Because I know when you're new or when you're just excited or when you just have a lot going on, it's hard to remember what are all the details I need to get on this property. So if you have a checklist, if you have a step-by-step in place of this is what I need, then all you have to do is ask the questions. So you call up the, if you're partnering with another wholesaler who has the deal under contract, I'm going to call them with my cell phone. I'm going to open up a lead card like this. I'm going to click in here to where I can edit it. And I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to say, hey, man, what's your name? And I'm going to put their information in here as I'm talking to them on my cell phone. Okay, what's your email address? Okay, yep, that's great. What's your phone number? And I'm just going to add it in just like this. I'm like, hey, man, what's your asking price on this? Okay, you're at 250. Nice. Okay. And I'm just going to add the information right here while I'm talking to him on my phone. Now, remember, can I do it from my cell phone from a beach in Thailand? I have done this. I have updated leads and ran everything from my cell phone because Trello's app works just as good from the cell phone as it does from the computer. So if I if I open Trello on my phone, I can then switch screens on my phone and make a phone call from my phone, put them on speakerphone and hold my phone in front of me like this. And I can be talking to them on the phone while I am making notes on my phone directly on the card, just like this. So I'm talking from my phone or talking through my phone on a phone call with them while I'm making notes on my phone while I'm talking to them. It's super easy. And we're just filling it in like that. Because remember, the point is, how do you do this from the carpool lane while you're waiting on your kids to get out of school? How do you do this at a 15-minute break at your W-2 job? I want you to be able to pull out your phone, make a call, update the notes directly on your phone, and then go back to work. That way your business moves forward in that 15-minute window. Okay? Does it make sense? Easy enough so far. In here, this is kind of like a reminder for you. Oh, I should try to get the asking price. I should ask them if they know what the repairs are. And then you can start looking up some data when you get off the phone with them. If they don't know all of the details, you can jump into Zillow and realtor.com or wherever, and you can start pulling some information. You can start pulling the Zestimate. You can start looking at other properties, see what the market rent is. You can pull the property, the bedrooms, bathrooms, square foot. Right here is motivation and pain. Why do they want to sell it? It doesn't matter if you're talking direct to a seller or if you're talking to a wholesaler who has the property and you're partnering with them. You want to know why they're trying to sell it. What's their motivation? What's their reasoning? How fast do they need to sell it? Stuff like that. So I have built that in here so that it's easy for you to remember. And then right here at the top, I actually show you how to use this card. So let me jump into how do we use this over and over and over for new leads. Every time you have a new lead, if it's direct to seller or if it's a wholesaler that you're partnering with and they have a property, I'm going to call a lead the property itself. Okay. So if it's coming from a wholesaler, from a realtor, from a banker, you're talking direct to the seller, it doesn't really matter. You're going to start a new lead card in the new leads being analyzed. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this card. And when I hover my mouse over it, in the top right corner, this little pencil pulls up. If I click on that, it will allow me to copy the card. When I hit copy, it's going to allow me to rename the card. Okay. So right here, I've got new lead template, and then I've got an example. What kind of deal is it? The seller's name and the address. So this is going to be a wholesale deal. I'm going to delete the new lead template because it's no longer a template. It's an actual lead. This is a wholesale deal. Jake is the owner or the wholesaler that I'm partnering with. And the address is 720 Jackson Street. I remember this one because 720 Jackson Street was my first deal ever. So I always use 720 Jackson. Now, underneath it, it says keep checklist, labels, attachments. We don't need to keep any of the checklist, the labels, or attachments because I'm going to show you those in just a second. But those are things that are specific to the card if they're needed. So I'm going to uncheck those. And I want it on this deal board, the VIP deal board, or it'll be your company name deal board. And then the position, I always want to make it position 2, which means it's going to show up in this list right underneath the new lead template. So if I have 100 leads on here and I add a new lead, it's always going to be in the second position, going to drop right underneath the new lead template. When I hit create card, it's going to drop it right there. Now, when I click and open that up, it's going to copy all of this stuff is in here in the card, right? So now I have all of this to help me and guide me on talking to him on the phone and what information I need to get. Okay. Once I get the information from them, how do I follow up with them? We want to set a due date directly to this card with good notes that tells us how do we follow up with this person and when's the next time we need to follow up with them. So as you see here, it actually has a due date attached already on the property. Whether it has it attached right there or it does not. So if I take it off, there's no due date or anything here. On the right side, I can check dates. And when I click dates, it's going to bring up a calendar. So today is Friday, June 3rd, and I want to follow up with him on Monday. Okay, so I'm just going to go over and click Monday. And then you see here the due date changes to Monday, 6/6/22. And then I'm going to change the time to the end of my workday. So if I work till 6 p.m. on my real estate, then I'm going to make it the end of my workday. And I don't like a reminder because I like to just know like there's a due date, it's due today. And then I'm going to get to my leads whenever my checklist tells me to get to my leads. So if I don't want it telling me, hey, at noon, you got to get this done. But on my checklist for the day and my block time on my calendar, I don't check them till 2 because then I'm getting a bunch of reminders at noon that I have to do something that I don't actually have blocked out to do till 2. So I just put by the end of the day is the due date for it. And then I use my calendar that I showed you guys on day 1 with the blocked out time for when to check them. So if I hit To the Monday's the date by 6 p.m. Click save. It's going to attach it to the top of the card right here. And now that tells me anytime I look at this card, it's going to say June 6, 6 p.m. That's when I need to follow up with this person. If I scroll down to the bottom of this card, it says activity, and it's got a spot where we can write a comment. So when I first talk to this person, whether it's a seller or whether it's a wholesaler that has the property, I'm going to click in here and I'm going to get the property information. I'm going to fill out as much of this as I can. Okay. Then I just click save there. And if I'm still talking to him on the phone, or if I'm done talking to him, either way, what do I need to do next? What came from this conversation? If it was a really good call with a great investor wholesaler who is going to do lots of deals with me and they seem really legit, and I'm just like, man, I'm pumped. Like, that was a good call. Right here in the comments, I'm going to write that stuff down. Had a really good call with so-and-so. And then I'm going to put like what my notes need to be for when I need to follow up. Give them a call on Monday to see if they found out about accessing the property. It's simple. We click save. As soon as we click save, it's going to timestamp it with the date and time of right now. So when I come back to this card on Monday, because Monday I see a due date that I need to do something here, this due date says, hey, you've got to follow up with this person. So then I scroll down here and I'm like, okay, here's the information on the property. It can remind me. And then I come down to the comments and I'll see this time stamped date and time from Friday, June 3rd that says, had a really good call with this person. Give them a call on Monday to see if they found out about accessing the property. Okay. And now I just scroll up here. There's their phone number, pull out my cell phone, and I call them. And while I'm talking to them on my cell phone, I'm going to start the next note. And while I'm on the phone with them, I'm going to take notes while I'm on the phone call with them. Okay. And then when I do that from that phone call, I'm going to say, follow up on Friday. Save. And every time I do that, it's going to timestamp every conversation, every text message. If I send a text message to them, I'm going to copy the text on my phone, and then I'm going to open Trello on my phone, and I'm going to paste it right here in a comment. And then I'm going to save it. So then Trello will keep track of, I sent this text message at this time and date. And I'll be able to look at this. And if it takes 90 days to close this deal, I'll have comments of, I sent a text on this day. I talked to him on the phone on this day. We talked about all of these things. Here's my next follow-up. And it'll be timestamped. Boom, boom, boom. It's all super easy to get to because you're just opening this one card. It'll always show up just like this. One card. Wholesale, Jake's the seller, 720 Jackson Street. Next follow-up's June 6th. I open it up and there's my notes. And here's what's been going on chronologically ever since I started talking to this person. And here's my next follow-up of the next thing that I need to do. And my comment's going to tell me what the next thing I need to do. So you don't have to try and remember where you're at with your leads. You can easily just open up your deal board and then boom, know right where each lead is, right? Do you see the power of like not having to try and remember? How many of you can set something up and be like, oh, I'll just remember. And then you just always remember. And if you do, you're probably thinking about it a lot. So let me ask you something. How do you leave work at work and feel confident that work will get done at work so that when you're with your family, you can be present with your family? Because if you're wondering if you missed something at work, or you're afraid you missed something, or there's something coming up that you really just feel like it needs a little extra something, you're not sure what it is, when you're with your family, it's constantly weighing on your mind. It's constantly making you feel like you missed something. And so you're not able to be present with your family. When you're able to put all of your notes and details into one clean and easy place, simple to find and easy to use, like this, it allows you to show up at work and do what you're told to do by your systems and processes, make good notes, and get all the information out of your mind right there onto the lead, and then leave it be until your system tells you to follow up and do something with it again. And if the system doesn't tell you to, you don't do it. It's that easy. And so by doing that, you're actually able to follow up with your leads. Now, if you guys hang around, I will actually give you a follow-up process too, so you know how to follow up. Let me check the comments here. You guys have any questions? What do you think so far? Give me your feedback on this, because you know I love to hear the feedback. And I love to see what's working for you guys and what's not. And whether we're getting anywhere or not. All right, let's see. Totally makes sense. Good stuff. All right. Let's keep going on this, because there is more that we can talk about here to make sure you understand this. Now, the point here is to have all of our information on this lead in one place. Okay. We can do a ton of things inside of Trello. You can't do all of the things that your hundreds of dollars a month software can do, but we don't need to. We need to make it simple and easy to use so that you can actually continue doing it. So I've shown you how to create this template so that we can log all the information. We put the information up top so we know quickly what it is. When we're just looking at it from here, we know it's a wholesale, we know the address, and we know the follow-up date. We open it up, we get more details. The June tells us when our next due date of the task is, and the comments at the bottom are going to tell us what we need to do. Now, when you have pictures of this property, when you get a signed purchase agreement with the seller or a signed JV agreement with another investor, what about those documents? You're going to lose those in your Google Drive or save to your computer somewhere? No, attach them right to this card. We can go to the attachments right here on the right side, click on attachment, and we can upload from our computer, Trello, Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, whatever you want. So if I send a JV off and I get a signatures on it, I can download it to my computer, and then I simply come into this card and I click attachment, computer, and I upload it from my computer directly to this card. And when I do that, it's going to attach it here, and it's going to show up in the middle of this card. Well, let's see if I have something here that I can attach. We'll just attach one of these buyers lists. So see right there, I just attached a document, and it's going to show up right here in the middle, just below the description. So if I click in the description here, you see how this is where we can put all the details. Right underneath that, an attachment showed up. Buyer strong phone number sheet CSV. So that's an Excel spreadsheet. When you get your purchase agreement with the seller, you upload it right here to this form. Now you can open this card for this property at any time, and you can see all the property information. You see the next due date of what you need to do. At the bottom, you can read your comments so you always know where you're at in the process. You could actually click on this and open it up and view the purchase agreement right here on it. And you can also add your photos. You could add photos directly to this card, and your photos will show up here. I just added a photo and an Excel spreadsheet to this, and now it shows up right here. If I want to view either one of these, you can click on it right here, and it'll open it up right on your Trello card. And then you just close it, and you're still on your Trello card. It makes it to where it's super easy to find all of your documents, know where you're at in the process, and know what you need to do next. Okay. Now we want to create a label that can just kind of give us a visual colored representation of where they're at in the process, right? Just to make it more visual. So on the right, we can click on labels, and I've put a few in here that are like dead, foreclosure, leads, high priority, SOP, consistent follow-up. Green, I like to call consistent follow-up, to where it's like, hey, if we got a new lead and we just need to keep following up until we get this deal. If they're high priority, we make them red. This says high priority naturally. because they're like, hey, call me tomorrow. I have to get rid of this thing, but I'm at work and I need you to call me tomorrow because I'll sell it to you, but I'm at work. So I need you to call me tomorrow. They're a high priority. So if they're consistent follow-up, high priority, whatever, we're just going to click on it and it adds it to the card. Now you see it shows up, consistent follow-up, the next due date. Here's the details. Here's the purchase agreement and the pictures. And here's my notes on what or where I'm at talking to the person. Okay. Now if I click off of this, it shows up right there. Simple and clean. A green tag lets me know this is consistent follow-up. If this was a high priority, I can just click there and uncheck consistent, check high priority, and now it'll show up like that, and it'll show up here as red. So now if I have 100 leads on here, like Ann does after a year and a half, you're not running around trying to figure out like which one do I need to follow up with today by trying to look at all these little due dates and all these little colors. I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily plug this into your calendar so that it works and you see just what you need to do that day. So we can simplify it even more efficiently. Okay. All right, let's get into that. Whoops, hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Let me get this figured out. I lost my screen share. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so we've got the deal board. Now, I've shown you how, or I've kind of given you the layout, right? Trello deal board. We've got lists, and we've got cards on the lists. Now, I've shown you that we've got all these lists for the different steps of the deal, right? And now we've got a new lead. It's a wholesale deal with Jake. The address is 720 Jackson. Next follow-up is June 6th. But if I look at my notes on it, I've already talked to this person, right? I already have the information in here, and I've already got notes that I've talked to them, and they want me to follow up, and they wanted me to follow up. But they're still in this new leads being analyzed list. Well, we're obviously not there because I've already contacted them. You see this next list says seller contacted, negotiations, follow-up. So I'm simply going to click on the card and drag it over to this column, and that's it. Now it's there. Once I'm following up with them over and over and over here. I make a call, I send a text, I add their comments to the notes on their card, and then they're like, Aaron, let's do this thing. Send me the contract. I'm going to say, great. I'm going to make the notes in the card. Talked on the phone, and he asked me to send the contract. Save. And now I'm instantly going to send the contract, but I'm going to drag him over here. It says send contract. So now I know that if he's in this column, he's a priority. I need to get that contract out. And then once I send the contract, I'm just going to drag him over here. I'm going to put a note on his card that says sent the contract. Follow up in 2 days. Save. And then I'm going to change the due date to 2 days later. Save. That changes the due date. Now he's high priority. June 8th, 6 p.m. is the next follow-up. I can look down here. I talked to him on the phone at this date and time. He asked me to send the contract. I sent the contract on this date and time. And now if I go out here, I'm like, contract is sent. So he is in the category, in the list of contract sent. The next follow-up is June 8th. And now I know where he's at in this process. Is that easy enough to follow? Like, this should be easy enough to follow to where anybody could do this. And something I want you to think about is do you think a child or your spouse or anybody could do this for you? Because that's where this gets really valuable. Is it's not just you that that can do this and has to do it. It's like everybody gets to do it. Everybody who works for you can come into your card, into your Trello board, and can actually um, um, know where you're at with every lead, like anybody. So the story I told you about my friend whose dad passed away on Monday, he is wondering what to do, right? They don't know where his dad was at with the bank loans. They don't know how to run the business that his mom is doing the physical labor in. They don't know how to actually work things around the place that they're currently living because their dad was very shut off and was like, I can do this. I don't need any help. Leave me alone. And so now he's wondering, like, how do we do this stuff? Well, think about what I just gave you right here. Don't you think that your 14-year-old son or daughter could come in here and open this card and look at it and be like, well, there's the seller's name, phone number, and email. This is what they're asking for the house. And that's how many bedrooms and bathrooms and stuff it has. This is why they need to sell it. Oh, look, there's pictures of the house. There's a contract. Even if they don't know what a contract is, they'll be able to see the contract, right? Where they could get somebody to help them with it if you were in the hospital. They could look at the notes down here and they could be like, oh, looks like he talked to him there. He talked to him here, talked to him on the phone here. Here they said to follow, or they said send the contract. Looks like they've already sent the contract. Oh, that must be this contract. And they'd be able to look at this and know where you're at in the process. This is simple enough that you can train somebody on it very easily. So when you are ready to bring in a team member, you're not spending, 6 months teaching them how to use the software. You can have them up and running in a couple hours worth of training on your entire business. Do you see the value in that? People like to spend a lot of money for big, complex things, and all it really does is cause you a bunch of tech issues and a whole lot of learning and not a whole lot of doing. But in actuality, you should be paying more for simpler processes so that you can actually do them in smaller amounts of time with a clear mind and be able to easily duplicate them on to other people, because that's the only way you get out of your business. So I hope you see the value of like how simple this is to actually run. Okay. Now let's drag him back here to these contacts. And I want to show you guys how we can make this even cooler. If you decided to cherry pick this deal, let's say you start doing some deals, you start getting some money coming in. So this is where Ann's at, right? Ann's about to hit her 100K Club award. And she's got a bunch of stuff in here and a bunch of leads in here. And she's closing some on creative financing and actually holding some of them for cash flow. She started out doing exactly what I'm teaching you. Go to find other people with deals, bring the buyer, split the profits, make some money. Network, connect, keep your expenses at zero, and just put money in your bank. Once she started doing that, she started having a lot of money coming in, and she felt more comfortable with the process because she had things in place. Her deal board was working solid. Her team management was solid. She was confident in all of it. It was taking small amounts of time. She's like, I should do some more with these, right? Now, on this template card, I've put an example of a checklist. If you see on the right side, there's a checklist. And you can click on that and you can add a checklist for whatever you want. Now, if you look at the bottom of this template card, I actually have an example checklist right here of what it might look like if you were going to keep a property and renovate it yourself, or keep a property as a rental and you need to do some work to it. You could put a renovation checklist on it like this, and then you literally just put in what you need to do and you can check it off as you get it done. So if we have this checklist on our card and we say, I talked to the contractor today and the paint is done inside and out. Save. It's going to timestamp that. Now I just check off that the paint interior and exterior is done. And it's going to show that I'm working my way through this entire project, this list. All I have to do to add a list or add an item is just add an item. And I can say, replace the roof, rewire all electrical in the entire house. Now watch the checklist up here. It says I'm 29% complete because of these things that are already on the list and two of them are checked off. If I add another item, it drops it back to 25% done because now it's figuring this new item and all these things with two of them being done. So it's actually showing me an active, progressive, where are we at in the project? And it gives you a timeline. So you can look at it and be like, okay, we're 25% done with this project. We still have these things to do. We got the roof replaced. We got the plumbing done. We got the electrical done. And now they're redoing bathroom one, and then they're going to finish the landscaping and we'll be done. We're 75% done. Yes, we got all these things done, and these are the only two things that are left. Oh, we decided not to redo bathroom one. Hover over it, go to the three dots off to the right, and just click delete. It takes it off there and adjusts the progress. Now you've got one thing left, you're 86% done. It's super easy and quick to be able to track where you're at with a renovation project. If you decided to keep that, there's actually a list here, renovation projects. So you see this is after the contract is signed, sent, EMD, and it's closed and you currently own it. And now you're doing the renovation on it. So you would actually drag that over here to renovation projects and you would work that there. Now this is your new lead template, so you need to leave this one over here. But when you get a new lead and you decide to keep it and do that, it's that easy. You drop a checklist on it and you have a contractor give you a scope of work. And then you simply take that scope of work and you plug it into a checklist right here. You just make the checklist items your scope of work. And that's it. And then once you do that, now you've got the checklist right on there. You've got the purchase agreement right on there. You've got photos right on there. You've got all of your comments at the bottom so you know exactly where you're at in the process. You've got your due date at the top so you know exactly what needs to be done next. And it's all in one simple place that you can pull up easily from your phone. I have used all of the fancy software and even the ones that have a pretty good CRM for your phone. It still is a pain in the butt to find your stuff. It just is. And if you miss a task, it kind of disappears into the void. What I like about Trello here is if you miss a task, the card's right here in front of you. Like you're still going to see it. All the cards are in lists right next to each other. So it's obvious that if you missed something on the due date, it just ends up in the same place right in front of you. So if this due date was past due and it was supposed to be done on the 1st, you see how it shows up red now and it says overdue? So we got a red priority sticker, but it says June 1 was when that was supposed to be done and it's red. So it's actually showing up right here in front of us like, hey, you missed something on this card. With all of the fancy automated software that you pay hundreds of dollars for, a lot of them, if you miss something, it has a tendency to start to fade into your list and it's harder to find it. And this like just simply drops it in front of you where it's easier to see it. From what I've found working with people. Now, this is like the easiest way for people to get it. Now, I'm going to show you guys. I showed you how to copy this lead template card, right? We're going to do the same thing if we're adding a buyer or adding a wholesaler. If I partner up with a wholesaler, I'm just going to copy this card and I'm just going to name it the wholesaler's name. Okay. I'm going to make it position 2, always right underneath the template. And then I'm going to uncheck the labels, create card. The label is that little colored key, remember? And so now if I open it up, I've got the details I can put in here for the person. Save, give them a label for consistent follow-up, give them a due date for the next time that I want to talk to them, and then close it. And now I've got that person with the green label and the follow-up, right? If I get a new cash buyer, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy. Take from State Farm. Everybody knows he's a buyer. I'm not going to keep the labels. Create a card. I'm going to open. Oh, that says Jack from State Farm. He's not Jack. He's Jake. Save. I'm going to give him a label. He's high priority. I need to follow up with him tomorrow on Saturday because we all know Jake's always working. So now we're starting to see we've got we've got Aaron over here, follow up June 16th. He's consistent follow up. We've got Jake from State Farm I need to follow up with tomorrow, June 4th. He's high priority. I got wholesale Jake over here selling 720 Jackson Street. He's past due. He's on June 1st. Now we're copying the template so that you can just fill in the dates or fill in the information that I've already put in the description for you, right? I've made these templates so you can just copy them and then change the details. Now, if you just hit add a card, you can add a card and it would still work. Let's say it's a wholesale. And is the seller. And we've got 920. Choose green. 920 green. And then add that card. Now, if we open that up, there's no details in here at all. You see that? Because it's not a template. I just added the card and just put it on there. So now there's nothing in the description to walk me through what information I need. Remember, that was kind of the power behind copying this lead template. If we copy the lead template, I've built the training in here so you know exactly how to use the card. And then underneath, I've put the information that you need to collect so that you know exactly what to collect, right? This is built for you so that you can remember how to work the lead. If you just click add a card, you can on any one of these lists. It's always going to bring it up empty and blank, and then you can add whatever you want to it. Okay. So the reason I did this is because I'm going to add a bunch of leads to this board real quick, and I'm going to show you with different follow-up dates and what it will look like when we have just a bunch of different stuff going on. Okay. Give me just a second. I'm going to add these here because I'm going to work through these and I'm going to show you what it'll look like and how we can follow them and how we can make it simple to track a lot of leads. These are not going to the way that I'm telling you to do them, right? Remember, I'm telling you to actually copy that template for each one. So don't do it the way that I'm showing you now. This is for an example that I'm going to, this is just for like an exercise so that I can show you how this will look when you're up and running. I'm going to set these all real quick. So what I'm doing now is I'm simulating a bunch of leads, right? If you get a whole bunch of leads spread out on this board, what's that going to look like in the day-to-day when you guys are coming to work? Okay, so once I get these plugged in here, then I can drag them to where they're at in the process. And I can show you what that looks like. Because I'm sure some of you, if you're starting to figure this out, you're like, what if I have a whole bunch of leads? Like, what if I have hundreds of leads? Like, let's say, what if Anne has hundreds of leads on her board, a year and a half in, and she's like, well, what do I follow up with today? I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to where you know exactly what you need to do on the day. Okay, and so I got to plug these in here so that you can see that. And this is going to be really cool. You'll like this because it's going to show you like how easy it is for you to actually keep track of these leads. And that's what's important is ease of use always. I'm setting some where they're ahead, some of them where they're priority, some of them where they're behind, some of them where they're consistent follow-up so that you can see how this will work at all stages of the process. Now, remember, we're dragging people left and right to wherever they're at in the process. So that's what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to simulate that we've got these people in different stages of the process. Okay. And as you can see, they're starting to get spread out pretty good on this board. Okay. Okay, now if we're looking at it, we have a wholesaler with a follow-up. We have a cash buyer with a follow-up. We've got Jake on Jackson Street property. And then we've got all these other properties. And these have been contacted. These asked for contracts. I sent a contract to them. We got contracts signed here. We got the EMD also here. And we got this. But you see how I'm having to scroll left and right to like look at the cards and see the due dates and see where they're at. How do I make this like super simple to where I just come into work and I can check one thing and it tells me which one of these I need to pay attention to today, and then leave the rest of them alone. That way it's very clear. What do I do right now? So when I come to work, I check my Trello board for who I need to follow up with. Right up top, you'll see it says Calendar Power Up. If I click on this Calendar Power Up, it actually brings up a calendar view of all of the cards. So because every one of those cards has a due date on it, it shows today is in yellow, June 3rd. But then you see the cards are spread out on all the days that their due date is due. So I don't have to scroll back and forth here and try to see which ones need my attention today. I just open up the deal board and click the power up for a calendar. Now, in the calendar, today is June 3. This is the task that I need to do today. If I click on that, it opens the card up directly from the calendar. I can read my notes. I can add details. I can call them from here, change the due date from here to follow up with them next Wednesday, click save. And then when I close this, it has automatically moved them to Wednesday. And now they're down here. But now I can also see that there are one from the second and two from the first that are past due. They're behind me. Today's June 3rd. So if I look at my calendar, I can see, whoa, these are back here, which means they're past due. So we don't want to go, okay, how do I get ahead and look at Jake's from State Farm for tomorrow? I did my task for today. Now I need to do the ones that are past due. And I always say, go back the farthest. So I'm going to open this one up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to change the notes, make the phone call, do whatever needs to be done. I'm going to make the notes in the activity and then change the due date for the next follow-up and save. Close it, and now it's gone. Now I'm going to open just the next one, and I'm going to phone call, send them a text message, follow up on the contract, send the contract, whatever I need to do, change the due date for the next follow-up, click save, go to the next one. Now I'm going to open that one. I'm going to do the follow-up, put the notes in the comments, call, text, whatever I need to do, change the due date, close it out, and boom, I'm all caught up through today. Now, if I scroll up to the previous calendar days, they should all be empty. Your calendar before you, behind you, should always be empty. If there's anything behind you, it's past due. Click on it and work them up to the present. And then if you're done with this, you can stop for the day, knowing that everything else is scheduled and in front of you. And you can see it, that it's coming up in front of you. It's super simple to know very clearly. If you start going, oh crap, did I forget about Jake? I can open up the calendar and it's like, boop, nope, Jake from State Farm's tomorrow. Okay, whew, I don't need to worry about it right now. I can go be present with my family because I know that Jake's tomorrow. And he was the one that I was worried about because he's a red label. He's high priority. Isn't that cool? I mean, come on. That's pretty cool for a free software. This took me years to build. It looks super simple now, but nobody was building stuff in something free that works. Everybody was building stuff in expensive software that I had to pay for and spend a lot of money for. And so like this is something that I saw was working for my clients. And as I worked with my clients like Anne over that year and a half, where she's using it and using it and using it, we find out that, oh man, if I put in a easy to use template card like this that has all this information built into it, then that makes it easier for her to make a phone call and just fill in the details, right? Because when Anne started on this board, it didn't have the template. She didn't have any of the templates and she didn't have any of these training videos. She was working on just the processes and tracking the leads, and I was building it while I was working with her. And then I used it with other people, and other people were getting success with this and tracking their leads good and doing a good job with it. Whereas in the past, they'd struggled for months and months, blowing hundreds of dollars trying to figure out their software. And with this, they were up and running like that. And they were like, well, this seems easy enough. And it really is. It's a simple process that works. Simple systems that work. Okay. I see Brutus, the comments. I like this. Anybody else like this? Everybody's pretty quiet today. That's all right. I'm going to go like you're all paying attention and you're loving it like it's $1 million, because I know it is. All right, let's see here. I know there is something else that I want to give you that I know a lot of people struggle with. Now that we've got a way to track the leads, how do we even follow up with people? Here's another system that I'm going to give you for free. Okay. I don't think I gave it on the last challenge. So I guess they just missed out, but I'm going to give it to you guys for free. This is the one that's in my program that we actually like, that people buy into, but I'm going to give it to you so that you have an idea of the actual, follow-up, so you know exactly how to follow up with people. So if you get a lead and you put them into your board, then sorry, I'm trying to do something here while I'm talking to you because something is not working quite right. But if you get a new lead, right, and you put them into your board, now when are you supposed to follow up? How often are you supposed to follow up, right? Because because the problem is, a lot of people are like, well, I followed up with somebody, but when I ask them, like, when did you follow up with them? They're like, 2 weeks ago. They're like, I did it 2 weeks ago. I'm like, well, you can't just talk to a lead every 2 weeks and hope that they close. If you were dating somebody and moving towards getting married and you only talk to them every 2 weeks, is your relationship going to progress quickly or slowly? Right? And if we're trying to find the fastest way to money, and we know that the longer something takes, the less likely it is for it to actually go through, in other words, a deal or anything, right? If there is a, the longer it takes for you to follow up and get a contract signed on a property, the more likely it is for the seller to bail. If they say, yeah, let's do it, but then it takes them a month and a half and they still haven't signed the contract, most likely they're not going to sign it. You want to keep following up, right? But if you're only following up every 2 weeks, it's not going to work. You got to follow up more regularly. And so what we want to do is we have to actually have a set system in place. Remember, the secret's in the systems. I'm giving you guys the real system. So I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to give it to you afterwards. So after the challenge is done, I will make a post and I will put the follow-up schedule in there. But I'm going to show you what it is right now, and I'm going to explain it, because a lot of people, when they see this, they're like, whoa, you do it that much? Yes, I do it that much. And you should do it that much as well. So let me share it. I'm going to show it to you. Okay. Follow-up system. You're going to think this is a lot, but this is what we do in our company. This is what I do. And anybody who's like been followed up by me, most likely you get a lot of information, a lot of messages from me, because I want you to know that I'm thinking about you. Okay. I want you to know that I know your life is busy and you get things put in front of you. You get messages, you get emails, and then you get busy. I get it. I don't think you're ignoring me. I don't think you're annoyed by me. I don't think that you're pissed off with me and you never want to talk to me. I think I sent you a text message and you looked at it, and then your kids yelled at you, or your break was up and you had to get back to work, or your kids yelled at you, or you realized you were texting and driving and you put it down, and now it's not showing up as a new text message and you forgot about me. And that's fine. Life's busy. Don't worry. I'll send you another message. I want you guys to start thinking that way. You have to start thinking in the mind of the person you're reaching out for. If they don't tell you to stop, assume they don't want you to stop. Keep following up with them until they either sell you the house, buy from you, or tell you to get lost. Okay, like that's what we're after. So this is how we follow up with people. Let me see if I can make that bigger for you. There we go. That's easier to read. Okay, follow-up system. We call somebody, we're going to call them back to back to back 3 times in a row. So in other words, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call you about your house or something. And then if you don't answer the phone, I don't leave a voicemail, I hang up. And then I instantly pick it up and I dial you again. I call you. If you don't pick up, I hang up, I pick up, I dial you again. 3 times in a row, I'm going to dial, dial, dial. The reason is the first time you seem like spam. The second time you might be a persistent spammer. You call 3 times in a row and people have a tendency to go, this must be important. And they'll pick up the phone. You'll improve your answer rates by 50% by just calling back to back to back 3 times on people that actually pick up the phone. If they don't pick up the phone 3 times in a row, on the third one, I leave a voicemail. And then as soon as I get off the phone, I send them a text message. Hey, this is Aaron, just trying to touch base with you about your house, XYZ, whatever it is. I'm assuming you're busy. No worries. I'll touch base with you tomorrow, or I'll try again tomorrow. I'm letting them know that I'm going to keep doing this until they talk to me, because I want them to either sell me the house, buy something, or tell me to get lost. I'm fine with that. We want decisions. We as creators make decisions. We want people to make decisions as well, because if not, everybody's wasting their time. I don't want to waste your time trying to pitch you and sell you something that you're not interested in. Just tell me you're not interested and then move on. But until you tell me you're not interested, I'm going to assume you're just busy, and I'm going to keep delivering and giving it to you. Okay. So call back to back to back 3 times in a row, leave a voicemail on the third, immediately send a text. The next day, we're going to do the exact same thing. Do that 7 days in a row. Now, this is a cold follow-up. So what I tell people is, if they're not answering for 7 days, you've called 3 times in a row, left a voicemail and a text 7 days in a row, and they haven't responded to a text, they haven't answered the phone, they haven't anything, it's just been cold, dead silence from them, then we're going to do the same process, but we're going to do it once a week. So we're going to call 3 times in a row, leave a voicemail, send a text once in 7 days. So we're going to do it once a week, that process, right? You're not going to do 7 days once a week. You're going to do one time, call 3 times, leave a voicemail, send a text once a week for 7 weeks. So now you're still touching base once a week for the next 7 weeks after the first week. So that's 2 months worth of follow-up. In 2 months worth of follow-up, that means 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've reached out to somebody in 2 months 14 times. That means we've left 14 text messages, 14 voicemails, and 14, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. No, that'd be 14 times 3. 14 times 3 phone calls, whatever that is. 28, 30, something, 40, over 40 phone calls. So you'd have 40 phone calls, 14 texts, and 14 voicemails over 2 months. Let me ask you something. When have you ever followed up with somebody with that amount of volume on somebody that has not responded at all? Because like the truth is, like the facts are, most investors will never, I think it's over 80% of investors will never even call the second time. They'll call somebody once and then they'll never call them back. Oh, well, they didn't respond. They didn't answer my text. They didn't answer when I called. And so they just never call them again. And what I've just showed you here is 40 phone calls, 40 texts, or 14 texts and 14 voicemails in 2 months. That's a lot of follow-up, and that's for one person. Okay. Then we're going to repeat that process every other week for 3 months. So this is a year worth of follow-up. And so remember, each time you do this, you're just changing the due date for the next time. So on this first set, I'm going to call them. And then if they don't answer, I'm going to leave voicemail, text, write it in my notes on the activity on their card. and then set the due date for the next day to do it again. I do that 7 days in a row, and then I set the due date for just 7 days later. And then I do it and I set the due date for 7 days later. This is a cold follow-up. So remember, this is if there's no interaction from them whatsoever. We're going to follow up like this. Now, if they interact with you, right? Then this gets put on hold and you follow whatever the conversation is from that point. So if somebody actually answers the phone on, let's say, day 3, you call them 3 times in a row, no answer. 3 times in a row, no answer. Day 3, they answer. And they're like, hey, thanks for calling back. Sorry I didn't answer your calls. I've just been busy. And you talk to them, good conversation. They're like, hey, you know what? I'm ready to go. I like what you're doing. Send me the contract. Let's do this thing. Well, now I'm not going to call them 3 times in a row, back to back to back the next day. They asked for the contract. So when I get off the phone, I'm going to fill out the contract, send it to them for signatures. And then I'm going to send them a text message. I'm going to say, hey, I just sent the contract over for your signature. It came from this email. Let me know if you don't see it right away. And then I'm going to call them the next day just to make sure they got it. So I'm going to set the due date for the next day, but I'm going to call them up and be like, hey, just checking in to make sure you got the agreement. Yes, we got it. Okay, great. Do you have any questions on it, or have you had a chance to look at it? No, it's Friday. So let me look at this with my wife over the weekend and touch base with me on Monday. I'm like, okay, great. Now I'm going to set the due date for the next Monday. Now, if I call them on Monday, I'm going to call 3 times back to back to back, leave a voicemail and a text if they don't answer. And I'm going to start this process over. So they asked me to call them on Monday and then they didn't answer. They're starting at the beginning of this again. Tuesday, I'm going to call 3 times back to back to back, leave a voicemail, send a text. If they don't answer on Tuesday either, I'm going to do it again on Wednesday. And I'm going to repeat this process 7 days in a row until they answer that phone. Because they asked for an agreement. They didn't tell me to get lost. They asked for a contract. So we're going to follow up with them like this. So we're going to use this follow-up until we get them on the phone and talk to them. And then we're going to follow the follow-up per the conversation we have. And then if they stop responding, we go back into this cold and we just start this over again. Okay, this is a done for you. I'm going to give it to you. Another system that you can plug in. So I've given you a system for managing your team and your logins and your actual operations. I've given you a system for managing your leads and your follow-up and tracking your deals. And now I've given you a system for your follow-up. Do you see the value behind the systems? These are just a few systems in the big picture of running a whole business. Okay, it has taken me 5 years to figure out all the systems from start to finish to where I could pass my business to somebody and they could run the whole thing. I did a live event last year and we built the systems all the way through, checklists, to where if I do that event again, I literally could have any one of you line up and organize the entire event to where I just show up and teach on the day. Any one of you could step in right now and I could give you access to Trello boards and you would know exactly who to call, how to contact them, what to say, what to order, how long it takes, how much it's going to cost, and the dates that everything needs to be lined up. So I could give you access and you could line up the entire event for me and I could just show up and do it. It's amazing when you get stuff working right. What do you do if you text a seller and they stop? Then just stop. Delete them from the board and move on. There's 2 things. You can either delete them from the board or move them to dead leads. I like to move them to dead leads. And so let me go back to the board here. I'll show you because I want you to be clear and I want you to know that you've got this. Let me pull up the deal board again. Give me just a second. I'm not going to leave you hanging on your questions. I want to make sure you guys are confident moving forward. And then we're going to wrap this up for today. It's a solid day, but I want to make sure I get you taken care of before we go here. All right. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. Okay, here we go. Here's the deal board, right? Let's say that Jake from State Farm here decides to be, just a rude dude, and he's like, he texted me back and said, now I can do two things. Okay. I can either hover over his card, click on the pencil and archive, which just basically archives like Trello's delete, just deletes him from the board. Or I can take him and drag him all the way to the right into the very last column that says lost deal. I like to drag him all the way to the end where it says lost deal. I remove the label and I mark him dead. Okay, there's a label for dead. And then I'm going to take the due date and I'm going to remove the due date because we're not following up with him anymore. So this keeps Jake from State Farm on my deal board in my lost deals with a tag or with a label that says he's a dead lead. If I click on it, I can now look at the notes and I can see all the follow-up that I did and everything else. And I can see all of his property information and everything. And then on such a date and time, he texted me back and said, stop. Now, the reason that I like to do this is because I like to take once a month and go back and look at all of the deals that you lost. If you're keeping all of the deals you lose and you're pulling them all to your lost deals, then you can go back at the end of a month and you can do an audit and you can say, we lost 10 deals. And you can jump and open their cards and look at all the comments and interaction that they had with you or none. And you can see, like, what did we do wrong? Because if you do all the comments, it'll timestamp it. And you can see, oh, wow, we took 2 weeks to reach back to this person when we said we'd get back to them tomorrow. Our last note said, call them back tomorrow. And then it took us 2 weeks. And that happened multiple times on like 10 different leads. We can see that we said we'd call back in the next day or the next 2 days, and we missed it. And it took us weeks to actually call back. So obviously we're losing deals, and that's consistent across all these deals that we said we were going to do something and we didn't do it. So how do we correct our business to make sure we do it? Now it becomes a priority to hit our due dates when we say we will. So I like to keep them on the board and move them to lost deals so that I can audit them and so that I can dial in my business and find that little problem spots. And this is the power of like accountability and coaching and working with a team, is you're actually able to dial in your processes as they go. So yeah, excellent question. Any other questions? Because this has been super powerful from where I'm coming from. Like, I know the power of it because I've watched, I struggled with things my first year on putting in the systems in place. I did 12 deals my first year from China as a stay-at-home dad. And then when I started my second stream of income, the deals just stopped. This was my problem. I had none of this. I had spent 30 grand on coaching and courses, and I still had none of this. So the point is, like, this is important. I spent 30K and still had none of it lined up. I had done 12 deals. I made $108,000 as a stay-at-home dad from a different country. Like, there's some things there that I had to overcome. Being in another country, being a stay-at-home dad with my 2 daughters, like actually having time with them, not working all the time, not being able to sign documents from another country, having Facebook, Instagram, everything Google, being illegal in China and still having to work around to get stuff done, to use a Google Voice phone number and all this stuff. Like, I had a lot to go through to actually make it work. And I felt like I was doing well. And then it all just fell apart as soon as I started my second thing, because these things weren't in place. And ever since then, for 4 years, working with people one-on-one, same thing. A lack of these systems and simplicity behind the systems is keeping people from having success. They're stuck in their jobs. They're not liking what they're doing. You don't have enough time in the day. You're blowing money on a course you don't finish, and it doesn't do anything other than teach you how to do a deal, which quite honestly is what my 30K went to, was teaching me how to do deals, but not teaching me how to run a business. Remember, again, I am not your real estate guru, period. I'm not teaching you how to hustle a quick 10K wholesale. I don't care. I want you to be able to hustle a 10K wholesale every single month for the rest of your life. Like, what would that change? That's what this does. You get systems in place. That's where the value comes from. That's where the consistency comes from. That's how your family gets you back. That's how your ministry gets you back. Remember, for me, I have to be able to go where God says go, when he says go, for as long as he says go, and I want to have the money to change the situation while I'm there. So if I take off to go rebuild from a hurricane and I'm working on people's houses all day, then I need to be able to run my business still, or someone else run it for me. How do we build that? Because that's a big picture. If I can make that work, I can make it work for you to be able to go to the playground with your kids in the middle of the afternoon. Because when my kids want to hit the pool, I can go. When we decide to throw kayaks on the car and go to the beach, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I can go because this will keep going. I know what I'm doing and I don't have anything to do for the next 24 hours. Like when you get to where it's working for you and with you in your favor, simply and clearly, it's amazing. And what it does for you is fantastic. You will love it. And everybody will be looking at you going, how are you guys do that stuff all the time? They think they mean, how are you doing it financially? But be honest. When you see somebody traveling all the time or taking off to go with their kids and do stuff all the time, are you thinking, man, they must be really rich? Or are you thinking it must be nice to be able to leave work that much? It's the time you're after more than the money. So quit trying to make $1 million and let's try to make your first 100K in a way that builds a scalable business along the way so that you can make consistent monthly income and have your time. Then you can scale it and it'll be easier to scale it from there. I guarantee you, once we get the pieces in place. So that is it. That is 5 days worth of me giving it to you. And for those of you who have asked, I put the link in for the team management board yesterday to where you could join Trello for free and copy that to your account. Make sure you copy it to your account, the team management board from yesterday. Today, after the training, I will put the Trello board, the deal board, the link for it as well in the group. Make sure you join it and copy it to your account. Sunday evening, I will remove everybody from my Trello board. The one that I'm giving you the link to, you will have to join mine. Remember, it's active, has a bunch of people on it. You will join mine and you will copy it to your account. Then you will make changes in your account. Okay? If you don't copy it by Sunday, you miss it. Too bad. Unless you get your VIP access. And you can do that at any time. There'll be a link where you can get VIP access. That'll make sure that I can give you the links. You get the boards afterwards. And then you actually get the recordings from this as well. But if you don't, it's fine. Just download them before Sunday. Remember, I'm not here to pitch you this week. I'm here to give it to you. So I'm giving it away. And I will put the follow-up system as well in a post in the group. Do me a favor, comment on stuff because it helps the group. It helps other people. It makes me feel good that I didn't just waste my time this week, that you actually got something out of it. I love to see you guys like dialing in your profiles. I love to see you guys answering each other's questions. It's fantastic. Think about it. If we quit focusing on ourselves and we started helping each other, we would all get a lot farther, a lot faster. Okay, so I love seeing you guys interact. I love it because I know that when one person posts a picture of their profile that they're working on it, it makes other people go, oh, well, that looks cool and that's simple. Because inadvertently, you guys are thinking I'm way up here and you guys are joining my challenge and I'm something special. I'm not, guys. You can do everything that I'm doing. I've been right where you're at. I'm just ahead of you 5 years. That's all. Period. I'm still just a guy with a wife and kids and a house and bills and the same problems and struggles starting a business and working this thing. I want you to work it too because you inspire me when I see you taking action. I get messages. I'll get messages for the next month of people that are like making money from this free stuff that I gave this week. That's fantastic. I absolutely love it. I have one person, like she's still, I keep bringing her up and I'm not going to name her again, but it's up to her. But she came out of the last one and she was like in a really bad spot with her marriage and family. and she had made $2,000 within a couple weeks of this free challenge. And it turned for her, she turned it into a job with somebody. And now she's got like income, and she's got like, she knows where she's going, and she's got things moving. And she messaged me and was like, thank you for like the motivation. Like I never would have done it without your me encouraging her. And I'm just like, man, that's why I wake up. Like it feels good. I love it. It makes this worth it. And with you guys, whether you realize it or not, when you comment and post in here that you're doing stuff, you are encouraging other people, and you're doing that for other people. Because if they think I'm up here and they're too afraid to reach out, they may still ask you questions because you did it, and you guys will help each other. So this is me building my business, but at the same time, for me, helping people is my number one. That was the whole point of missions. That was the whole point of the police department way back when. I wanted to help people. I went into missions. I wanted to help people. Now I have business, and my first year just doing deals, it was just money. That's why it turned into like figuring out the systems for other people, was because I didn't want to have a business that was just about money. And I made good money, right? I made 12 deals, 108,000 as a stay-at-home dad from China year one. And I was like, man, I'm doing pretty good. But I hadn't helped anybody that year. Like that bothers me. Like that year, my family just lived and played. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not giving you guys crap if you want to make money and take care of your family. That's fine. Do it. I'm giving you my point of view. So from there, I was like, man, if I have these system problems, who else has these problems? And then it was like, this is a problem for every investor from what I've seen. If you're not the guru, you're lacking systems, period. Like that's what I found. Everybody's struggling with this. The 96% of investors that go out of business in year one, that's 96 out of 100 every year. None of them have systems. That's 960 people out of 1,000 that are trying to get into real estate that end up failing the first year. It's because nobody's teaching you how to run the stinking business. Nobody's teaching you how to make it consistent and scalable. And that's what I'm trying to give you. So me scaling my how do I help more people is sitting here like this, driving you guys to post and comment and share what you're doing, because you're going to actually inspire other people. And that's what makes people go, right? That's what helps getting people going. That's what makes people go, right? So I love it. Thank you for all of your feedback and everything. I see crazy. I've been doing deals with no systems. Exactly. Let me ask you a question. If my friend, which I know you've been following this whole thing. So my friend whose dad passed away, his family can't take over the business. You've been doing deals with no systems. I did deals with no systems from China, which took some work, right? But as soon as I stopped, they stopped. So could I step into your business and know exactly what you have going on and keep doing it for you, so I could help your family get back on their feet if something happened to you? Build it that way. Now, that's the end of the challenge, okay? I said I was not going to pitch you for 5 days, but I know some of you have asked and you're wondering what it looks like to work with me. And I've said, hey, you don't get to figure that out until the end of day 5, because I'm not going to pitch this whole week. So this is where I transition. If you want to see what it's like to work with me, you can hang around now, and I'm going to actually show you your first 100K, and I'll give you just a short like sneak peek of what it looks like and what that is. But if not, you can take what you've gotten for free for the last 5 days and take off. And I wish you all the best of luck. Catch up over this weekend, get the replays, copy the Trello boards, own it all, and then do it before Sunday or upgrade to VIP access, get the recordings, and be perfectly fine there. If you want to see what the next step is to where my 5 years of putting this together, I basically have a done for you. Everything's done. You just copy it. And it is designed to get you to your first 100K in 12 months. And so organically. And so that is essentially $8,400 a month is $100,000 in 12 months. So if you want to see what it looks like to like join that and just copy all of the systems and be up and running by Monday with like, boom, it's all in place and you know how to use it, then hang around now and I'll show you a sneak peek for that. If not, though, thank you so much for your time. Time is something that you can never get back, and I understand that. And so for you to show up 5 days, give me an hour to 2 hours every day this week, I really do appreciate it. And that's why I work so hard to make sure that I don't waste your time during this week. So for those of you who are hanging around, you're interested in your first 100K is the actual program. Now, we know that people, when you have a program or a course, 85% of people won't even finish the course that they buy. And I was that person. That 30K that I spent my first year, I have courses that I paid for that I did not finish. When I learned that statistic, I looked back and I went, holy crap, I'm one of those people. I did not even realize it. But I was definitely one of those people that had bought a course and didn't finish it. So when I started coaching and working with people, it was, how do I scale up and help more people? How do I create something that could go for more people and actually get them success? My coaches, I spend a lot of money still on coaching. I'm well over 75,000 on coaching now, because I think it's important to invest back in yourself. If you want to grow and push to a different level, you got to pay the people that are at that level to just show you how to get there. And a lot of my original coaches were telling me, just do $1,000 course, do the 2-hour webinar, and then sell them the $1,000, the $997 course, the 2-hour webinar, that wastes 2 hours of your life and then pitches you the whole time and sells you the $997 course. And they taught me about how, a lot of people don't finish the course, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good course. And that's true. All of the information is good. Just like you can learn everything for free on YouTube, but it's going to take you years to figure it out because it's all jumbled and it's all mixed around and none of it's in order and everybody's changing the name of things to make it their own. And so it just takes you longer. So when you think about it, you're not paying for courses that are better than others. You're paying for your time. You're just wanting to speed it up, put it in order, simplify it, tell me what to do, when to do, how to do it. And unfortunately, there's a lot that don't. They waste your time, pitch you $1,000 course, and then you're on your own. And then 85 out of every 100 don't even finish the course. Remember, I was one of those. I've got 2 or 3 courses I didn't finish. I look back now and I'm like, why the heck didn't I? But it's just the facts. It's the way it works. So knowing that people didn't finish courses, I was like, that's kind of like year one for me. That's just making money for me, but is it really the best way to help people? And that's the reason I haven't done a course. So the program that I'm going to show you right now and tell you about is called Your First 100K. But the reason that I haven't done this in the past, and I say in the past because I only created this and opened it up to the public March of this year. So March of this year is the first time where I've put this out there for anybody as a package to buy the course with coaching and everything. And I'll show you more about that in just a second. But because I didn't want to sell $1,000 course and say, good luck. I don't like it. I hate it because I feel like you're not going to get success without coaching. Some people do, but it's not a lot, right? Because it's so much harder to hold yourself accountable when somebody's not holding your feet to the fire. It's hard to hold yourself accountable if the only people around you are either negative, like, why are you still working so hard at that? Why don't you go get a job? Or overly positive, where they just cheerlead. Oh, you're doing awesome. Just keep it up. Just keep it up. Just keep it up. But they're not actually telling you what you're doing wrong. Both are just as bad, because you don't want to just keep it up if you're doing it wrong. You don't want to just stick with it. Just try a little longer if you're doing it wrong. You need to get it in line correctly and then make it work right. And that's how you get your progress, which unfortunately is hard to build free groups that way, right? And if you just sell a course, people don't get that because they sell you a course, they give you the Facebook group, and then they never interact in the Facebook group. So it's you and a bunch of other beginners trying to figure it out on your own with the same course that most of them never finished. And I was like, I am not going to do that. And that's the reason that for 4 years, I worked one-on-one with people, because I was like, the only way I'll do it is one-on-one with people so that I can see what you have going on and I can help you dial it in and then hold your feet to the fire, cheerlead you, but at the same time, correct you and be like, nope, you got to stop doing that. Like, this is wasting your time. drop these mice and slay this dragon so that we can move fastest way to money. And I've enjoyed that. I love coaching and solving problems with people because I see people's lives changing. I see people getting time with their families. And now with my live event last year, I actually met some of them and their families because we included their families for a formal night. We had a chef and we had a formal night and we had like everybody come down to Fort Myers, Florida. We had a yacht and we had a lot of fun. But everybody got all fancied up and we had a champagne toast with the families and my girls were there and my family and their families. And it was awesome. To me, that's impact. I want to make that impact bigger. I want to help you succeed. I don't want to just sell you a course. I want to help you succeed. And so my program now, I do have a course. I do have a program, but it's not a, here's your video training, good luck. There is a video training. There is a course, probably like what some of you are used to seeing. But it is accompanied by the systems that I showed you guys and the checklist that I showed you guys. It's all of them done for every part of the business from start to finish. I've done all of them for you. It is very clean, clear, and precise. All you do is show up at whenever you choose, show up during your time that you have blocked and budgeted out to work on your wholesaling business. And we are going to focus 100% on dispositions wholesaling, which means we source deals from other investors. We work the buyers list like crazy, and then we connect the dots and we're pulling money out of it. Don't oversimplify it and think, oh, I can do that. You're absolutely right. You can do that. And you will do some deals and you will make some money and then it'll fizzle out. Because I'm not selling you a quick and easy way to do deals. I'm giving you the business. It's your first 100K organically. So everything is designed for you to be able to pull out your cell phone and use systems that go more in depth that are built for you through Trello that work with video training all along the way. And then weekly calls where we jump in, we call them freedom calls, where we dial in what's working, what's not, and we answer your questions. Now, if any of you have ever jumped into any other course or program, every time you go in, it's all about real estate. I have not found anybody yet who says every time I show up, we talk about this one thing. Everybody's always like, well, every time we show up, we're not sure what they're going to be talking about. And it's hard to get a question answered because there's so many people and there's so many different questions. I have taken the 4 years of coaching and said, everybody has the same questions. So now we designed the business model to focus fastest way to money, skipping all the cold calling. There's no cold calling. There's no, you're never going to sign a contract with a seller. You're never going to have to put up earnest money. You're not going to have to be stressed about trying to figure out what you need to, or how to get rid of this property because you're going to have to try and close on it or back out. We got rid of all that stress and everything by going to other people that already have the deals. So you remember how I showed you, we go into Facebook groups and you get people back to your profile so that you don't have to build and grow a Facebook group. Multiply that times 100. We're going to use other people to find deals so that we don't have to market. We don't have to do cold calls. We don't have to spend any money on websites. We don't have to build out funnels. We literally use the processes I gave you this week, but I've built them for you and I give them to you. So I'm going to save you the 5 years that it took me to dial it in, and you can copy it. It's that quick. Boom. It's click and copy, just like the other deal boards, to where you have all of the video trainings, you have all the systems in place, and you know exactly what you're doing. And then you can show up every single week and we're going to dial those systems in. So you don't show up and we're talking about apartment buildings. And then the next week we're talking about multifamily holding rentals. And then the next week we're talking about cap rates. We don't do any of that crap. You show up and it's like, here's the process. How's it working? Oh, it's not working over here, this or this or this. We fix that problem and you go back to doing it. The goal is to like do this one thing, super clear, super focused. The answers are always like, boom, we're driving it. We're driving it. We're creating consistency, and we're creating consistency as a team and as a group. I'm not your REI guru. I am like your on-call systems creator. When I see something's not working, I dial in the process. So we've already like redone one of the training videos because we found a quicker and easier way to do it as a group on the coaching calls. And boom, updated the membership area so that the challenge or the training was up to date on faster and easier way. I have never paid for a course that changed and grew. It always was like, here's the course. You can never talk to anybody. Good luck. And you either make it work and finish it or you don't. With this, I'm not giving you a course and saying good luck. I'm giving you a course and then we're showing up and I'm saying, boom, it's not working here. Or, ooh, I learned this, and we dial it in. And when I say we dial it in, I dial it in and then I show you how to fix it. And that's it. And you keep moving forward. You set the goal of showing up and doing the work every day. And it's consistent and easy and simple steps. I've created a daily success path is what I call it. And it allows you to show up and go, okay, what do I need to do today? So I'm going to give you a quick look inside your first 100K program so that you can see inside the membership area. And then I'll give you a quick look at what the success path looks like so you can see how simple it is. And here's the things that I've seen that like almost guarantee success for people is one, you have to have the training, the course, and the systems in place, right? So you have to have the training and the systems, and then you have to have accountability and something to work for. 4 steps. Okay. This is like, if you can bring all these things into one place, it's going to like really drive you forward to actually completing what it is that you want. The problem with a course is you're lacking accountability and you lose sight of what you're trying to build. And so you're not sure why. You start to lose sight of like, why am I doing this? And there's nothing driving you, right? There's nothing to work towards because you lose sight of the picture. There's no accountability where they're saying, are you getting it done? Yes or no? It's not working. Why? How do we fix it and get you on the right path? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean you're mentally thinking this doesn't work? Hey, here's why. Let me get your mindset dialed up so that you know where you're going again. If you're lacking any one of those things, the course doesn't work. So you have to have the course and the training to learn, right? Then you have to have the systems to be able to scale it, to create the simplicity. But you can't have the accountability either without the training. What's the point of a mastermind group or a Facebook group if nobody knows what they're doing? Guys ever been in one of those where everybody in there is brand new and the mentor's just selling their stuff and that's it, and nobody's actually getting any valuable information out of it? And you're just like a bunch of beginners trying to help each other? It's like it's not real successful, right? So you still have to have accountability and community, but you have to have, it doesn't work still without systems, training in place, right? And then a clear picture of where you're going. So if we can create all of those things, this is what I started, this is the problem I needed to solve before I felt comfortable putting out a course. If I can solve those problems and bring all of those things into one program, then that program would get people success because it would be designed intentionally to give you the training, the systems, the accountability and community with purpose and something to work for. And I've got all of that inside of there. So we have the course, the systems, you just click and copy. My goal is to show up every week for your coaching calls until you get to your first 100K. So it's not a 3 months and then you should have it. It's not a 30-day trial. There is no upsell. There's nothing later. I am not holding back anything to try and upsell you later. It's like you buy in and you're in, period. Now my goal is to help you succeed. I don't get percentages of your deals or anything. So if it takes you 3 years to get to your first 100K, you've got me in group coaching sessions every week until you get there. So I'm saying I'm going to show up until you get to your first 100K. And then I know this works. So out of my pocket, when you hit your first 100K, like Ann's about to, I'm going to send you a custom engraved bottle of champagne that says, welcome to the 100K Club, Aaron Jennings. It'll have your name engraved on the front of it. So we have an award that you can try to win by getting to your 100K. I'm going to show up every week until you get it. And we've got the training and the course and the systems all click and copy in place for you. There's just over 6 hours is all from start to finish to do all the training videos and be up and running. So literally, if you guys sign up today, you'll be up and running by Monday. And you'll be working the process with clarity on Monday, working towards your first 100K. Now, $100,000 divided by 12 months, $8,400 a month. So essentially, when you buy into your first 100K program with me, that's the only thing you have to buy, and you're copying my $8,400 a month business, because this is the way that I would be doing it. I'm a newbie. What experience do I need to do this? This was designed to save that learning curve. The years of experience you're trying to gather, you don't need any. We have a few people in there right now came in exactly like that. No idea how to run comps, ARVs, nothing. I have simplified running comps and ARVs and all that crap so that you don't need to know all of this years of experience. I have brought it down to the simple, just do this and this, and we can pull money out of it. You don't need any experience to do it. Everything is in there. And if I find, and this is my favorite part of this, in my opinion, is when I find something, like if you're brand new and there's something that you are lacking inside this, like you buy into your first 100K program and we find like you really need to know how to do this and it's not in there, I'll create it and I'll add it in. So if we find something that is not included that you need to succeed, I will add it in. It won't cost you a dime. There's no upsell. There's no nothing. I will see that my course, my program is lacking, and I am not okay with that. So I will dial it in, I'll build it in, and I'll add it to you. This is designed to be the last thing that you need. So whether you're just getting started or whether you've been trying it for a few years, this is designed to be like, once you buy in here, you don't need to buy anything else. One lady who's in it, she said she's got like $50 a month expenses, and that's because she wanted to get a separate phone line and a virtual business address. She's like, I didn't have to get those things, but I wanted to. And so she even like admitted it in one of our calls. She's like, I got about $50 a month in expenses because I got the phone and the virtual address and I didn't really need to, but I just wanted those separate. Like, perfect. So it's designed to have no monthly expenses. You've got your course, you've got your coaching, all of your systems copied and handed to you, and you've got the 100K club to work your way into so that we can celebrate with you in the group coaching calls every time somebody hits a 100K club. So let me show this to you real quick. I'm excited about this because it did take me like 4 years of one-on-one with people to actually put it together to where I'm like, this will get people success. I know it. And Anne is proving it. Anne's as a stay-at-home mom with 3 daughters. And for her, it's all about family, period. She's like, I have to have my time with my family or I'm just not interested. And I'm like, perfect. That works. I can work with that. And she's about to hit her 100K. She's at like 98 and change. And she's psyched out of her mind. There's no application fee either when you hit your 100K award. I pay for the custom bottle of champagne to have it engraved and sent to you out of my pocket. So I'm not even like trying to get you on the backside or anything. Like, this is just it. Once you're in, you're in. And I am doubling down on getting you success. That's where I spend my time. Outside of this free 5-day challenge, I spend my time in that group, making sure that I'm answering their questions, making sure that we're dialing in trainings, making sure that they have what they need to move forward. That's where I want to spend my time. I'm actually not doing the one-on-one coaching anymore. I'm changing to this because it's going to allow me to help more people. And the people that end up in my world typically have a desire to help other people. And so at some point or other, if I get you success, you will do more to benefit the world around you. And so for me, scaling my impact on the world, if I help more wholesalers keep from going out of business, and I can help you actually create a life where you have time and money to spend with your family and your ministries and your whatever is important to you, then we're helping more people. We're impacting the world in a greater way. And it's freaking cool. So anyway, sorry, I'm getting ramped up. This is inside your first 100K. It looks like other courses, but it's designed very simply and step by step. 3 sections, define and design, which is all about building you and your company. So day 1 on steroids. Day 1 of this, where we said, this is what I do, the one thing and how I do it, it's on steroids. But It's simplified. So you see there's all these different lessons, but if we look right here on this first video, who here has ever bought a course and knew exactly how long it would take and what to expect? Because every course that I've ever bought, you just open it up and you start doing the training videos, and you see each one of the videos is like an hour to 2 hours long. And it's like, holy crap, there's like 20 videos over here. And if all of them are 2 hours, this is going to take me the next 6 months because I got work every day. So I wanted you to know up front, and this is the point of the sneak peek. I want you to see it before you buy anything, before you're even in. I want you to know exactly what to expect. Okay. There are 36 videos inside this membership area. They are actually just over 6 hours because, like I said, I've actually added a training to it since we've started with the group. So it was just under 6 hours. We're just over 6 hours total, which means if you buy in today, you set up your logins, your access. Tomorrow is Saturday. By tomorrow, you can have all this done, set up, and ready to roll, which ultimately means by Sunday, you'd be ready to go. But so it's just over 6 hours. Now, 10 of the videos are between 10 and 20 minutes long. And then 26 of the videos are less than 10 minutes long. And a lot of them around 5 minutes. Why? Because it was strategically designed for you to be able to do it on your 15-minute break at your W-2 or in the car lane or in the carpool lane, picking up your kids. It's designed to get you progress quickly, fastest way to money, not spend all your time in the next 6 months learning from me like you would learn from everybody else. My goal is to get you fastest way to money. So all the videos are short and quick and to the point. And then the weekly calls actually allow you to show up, ask any questions, dial in the process. We deal with scripts. People post like, hey, I had somebody tell me this. What do I say? I give you a script right there. Boom. Everybody's doing the same process, so it works for everybody. We're not wasting each other's time on a bunch of comments that don't matter. It's very clear, very clean, very focused. You're going to do the same things over and over and over until they start paying you. And they will start paying you. Anne is proof of that, along with other clients that I have. Okay. And this is essentially what I did my first year without creating the duplicatable systems. I was doing this process my first year in it, but I just had no idea I was doing it. And I had no idea how to show anybody else how to do it. And I thought I was the only one struggling with that. It was working. I was doing deals, but it didn't sustain. It didn't keep going as soon as I got distracted with something else. And so that's what I've solved in here. Now, back in here, this is set up in 3 simple sections, right? Define and design, building who you are. Day 1, it's super simple, super to the point, super focused, and it gets you like set up with a solid foundation. This is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I'm doing. This is what I need to track to get there. Then company setup. You're going to go through these one time. It's literally like, this is how you set this up. This is how you set this up. This is how you set this up. Done, done, done. That's your company setup. From that point, I actually have daily operations. I have never seen a course that showed you what to do from day to day. They're like, here's how to do deals. Now go do it. Cold call and pull lists. Now, how do you do it consistently? What time of day do you do it? What's it look like? Like, what's the actual process? You can show me how to pull lists and cold call, but let's be honest, if it's not simplified down for me, I'm going to make excuses because I'm going to act like, or I'm going to tell myself I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm going to make sure I have all my I's dotted and my T's crossed before I do something. Well, no, I've made it so simple for you that it's literally like, do this, then do this, then do this. And at any point, if you forget what you're doing, you just click back in here and boom, there it is. Now, who's ever bought a course and forgot the logins? You don't even know the website or where to go back and log in. I thought of that too, because I've done that. Those courses I didn't finish, I was like, holy crap, I have like 3 courses I didn't finish. And then I was like, where do I even get into those? Like, I couldn't even remember where I would go to log back in to figure it out. Okay. So I thought about that. I thought, if I give you guys this course as part of the program, what makes it easy to find? Because a lot of membership sites don't work real well from your cell phone. This one you could see from your cell phone. But the idea is to make it to where it's easy for you, right? To where if you ever get stuck in your business, ever, it would be a simple boom. I pull it up in this one place and I know exactly what to do. So everything that is built inside of here, once you set up your company, this is all of like every one of these is a training and a step-by-step checklist on how to run the start to finish of the business from step by step. Now, as soon as you are done with this, you've went through the training and you learn it, everything runs inside of Trello. So if we jump over to your Trello operations board, all of the membership site training is built into Trello cards that will open from your cell phone like that. Super simple and easy. They're right here. That entire training, all of these that if you forget where to even go to log into your membership site, you're going to jump into Trello from the app on your phone. Boom. And you can pull up the system and know exactly how to do what you're doing. Now, the beauty of this is I've built it for scaling. So when you are ready to hire a team or bring your spouse or your kids in to come help you, you can even ask me, how do I log back into the membership site? Because I forgot. And I'll show you how to log back into the membership area. And then you have your team or your spouse or your kids come in here and work through, not the company setup, but just have them work through define and design, and then have them work through the daily operations. They do a training on each one of them. They're going to learn how to do it. They watch the same training videos that you did. So you take this, you learn how to do it, and then you simply have them learn the exact same thing. So when you're ready to bring a team in, you don't have to train them. I've already trained them for you. So I have thought down the road when you're ready to scale, this is ready to scale with you. Okay? And then at that point, once they have the training, they're the exact same thing. They jump into the Trello board, and that's where they access the step-by-step or the training videos on exactly how to run the business. Now, this is still a lot, right? How do I make this even easier for you? Right here, your daily and weekly success path. You click that up. I have made a step-by-step simple do this, check it off. Do this, check it off. This is integrating your mindset, your physical activity, reviewing your company core values. I've built your core values for you so you know exactly what you stand for. You can dial it in, change anything you want, or you roll with what's here. Fastest way to money, copy an $8,400 a month business and roll with it. And then dial it in as you go. Anne has made changes to her business as she went, but she had to start with something. And we've dialed this in. So literally, to run your company now, you set one alarm on your phone for whatever time you want to work on your business. If it's 12 o'clock at night or if it's 8 o'clock in the morning because you're already full-time, you're going to set one alarm that says, check your daily success path. You open up Trello, you click on your daily success path, and you do this checklist. If you do this checklist, check it off. Do it, check it off. Do it, check it off. This will start to move your business forward consistently. This was designed to where even on your worst day, when you're having a bad day and you don't want to go to work, it'll take you an hour maybe to go through this whole thing. So in less than, let's double it and say you're having a really bad day and you're going to take 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day to complete this, and it'll keep your business moving forward. And then it starts to compound and get easier. The end of my first year, I wasn't even calling agents anymore. The same 3 people were just sending me deals consistently because they knew I would just close on them and move on. The compound effect behind having simple systems that work in place so that you show up and you know exactly what to do, you know exactly how to do it, you know how long it's going to take, and you know what it's going to produce. That right there saves you 5 years. It took me 5 years to figure this out and put it together. And like I said, I've spent $75K in coaching. And I continue to go to events to continue to deepen my knowledge. When I go to events, I take what I learn from the events that I spend a bunch of money on, and I get rid of everything that doesn't matter to you. And then I come into our weekly group coaching calls and I say, hey, I went to this event. Here's some things that I think will really benefit you guys. and I take what I continue to learn and I pour it into that group. This is me scaling my impact, and I would love for you to be a part of it. If you want fastest way to money, this is where wholesaling is going. It's getting harder and harder and harder for people to stay in the business and keep spending money on marketing and running everything themselves without understanding how to run the business. And so I would love for you to join me. If you want to join your first 100K program, I'm not going to run you around and sales pitch you. It's $5,000, period. Pay $5,000 for the whole program and you're in. And then that's all you have to do. Everything is there and everything is set up and working for you. So everything at that point, you just have to show up and actually do the actions every day. Show up to the coaching calls, we'll dial it in, start working towards your 100K club, and get yourself that custom bottle of champagne. And I will show up every week. And you think about it, if I'm saying this will get you to $100,000, and I'm going to show up and dedicate myself and my time until you get to your $100,000, and it costs you $5,000 to get in, that's a 20 times return on your money. There's not a lot of things that you can make a 20 times return. And it'll take you as long or as fast as you decide to go. You want to go faster, you just take your daily success path and you double it. You want to go super fast, you take your daily success path and you quadruple it. And you're going to move through it faster. So I have put right here, if you're ready to go and you want to check it out, you want to see and you want to actually go with it, you can, if you're saying right now, so let me back up. If you're saying right now, man, this is awesome, but I don't have 5K. Okay. Now remember, I don't like the idea of just buying a course, but I want to make you or give you an option. Okay. And I'm going to show this to you real quick because I want you to see it. And I want you to know that there is an option for you. There we go. There we go. Okay. So there is an option for you, right? If you're ready to go, 5K like gets you everything. It gets you the 100K club where I send you the custom bottle of champagne when you get there. It gets the group coaching calls every single week so that I can dial in your processes for you and it keeps you moving forward. If you decide like, man, I don't have the $5,000, but I still really want to do this and I'd love to get all that, but I don't have it all right now. You can actually join with just the course and the systems without the group coaching calls and without the 100K club. Okay, so there is two options. One is the full program. It's the course, it's all the systems, everything, just copy and paste the $8,400 a month business model. And then you get the coaching calls, you get the 100K club. And when I do the VIP live event access, that event that I had with the yacht and everything down here in Fort Myers, the invitations, the only people that can come to that are people that are inside your first 100K or VIP affiliates. So you'll actually have access to be able to come to that if you want to. Or for $1,500, you can get just the course and copy all the systems. So it is still everything that you saw inside that video course and inside the Trello cards where all the systems are done for you and it's copy and paste, you own them and you're ready to go. The only reason I caution away from that is because that's the course style. That's the video training and plus all the systems, which is something you don't find in any other course. But it is everything copy and paste, you owned it. You're just on your own to make it run. There's no accountability. There's no 100K club to work towards to try and join. But I will honor the 5K for you if you join the 1,500 and then you upgrade later. You can add the coaching and stuff whenever you want. You can access the calls and the 100K club for the $3,500 difference whenever you're ready. So the options are join the whole thing now, 5K, and you're in and done. There's nothing else you have to buy. There's no monthly expenses. It's just the 5K. And that's me showing up. And that's me actually giving you coaching calls every week and me doing the custom bottle of champagne, welcome you in the 100K club when you hit it, along with all the duplicatable systems and everything. And you're done. That's it. Now it's show up every day, do the daily success path, show up weekly, get dialed in, and I continue to learn and grow and build the processes. And if we see problems, we dial it in together and we move towards you making success. If you are like, not sure, shoot me a message on Messenger if you want to talk. But at this point, you guys see the power of what we're doing. Like we spent 5 days, and I've tried to give you as much as I could over 5 days, but there's still only so much experience of 5 years, 4 years of like dedicated systems creation. There's only so much I can give you in 5 days of 5 days of like free training, right? It still is going to take like a lot more to it to get you dialed in. Buying into your first 100K, joining my program, and being a part of our community, it's like done for you. Copy it, and by Monday morning, you'll be up and running, and you'll have things like in place and rolling. And then Wednesday, we have our calls, and we'll dial things in, and we start working your processes. So for those of you who are ready to go already, then just go to vipbuyersclub.com/let's go. If you do that, that'll take you straight to this page that I'm showing you right here. And then here, you're just going to click, yes, I want to join your first 100K. And then here, it's going to have you put in your payment details. And right here, you just select your first 100K for 5K, the full program, or your first 100K, the course only. And it'll let you pay with PayPal, credit card, debit card, whatever works for you. But then as soon as you do this, you'll get a welcome email within the next few hours. So if you do it right now, you'll get a welcome email within the next few hours, most likely, giving you access to the membership site. And you'll be able to set up your username and password. You'll be able to jump in and start working on the videos today. And since most of them are 5 minutes to 10 minutes long, you can get a lot of videos done this afternoon. If you have the rest of the day, you could get a lot of it done this afternoon, this evening, finish up tomorrow, be dialed in over the weekend, up and running. Well, I'm not going to continue with it at this point. Like I said, I'm not pitchy. I'm not trying to sell you on something. At this point, you should know whether you're in or not. And I'm not trying to be pushy at all. If it works for you, great. I'd love to get to know you on the inside. Love to see you as part of my team and to help you get that success. I love seeing people win. So it's fun for me to actually have you in the coaching and everything else and be able to like really get to know you guys and then hopefully see you at VIP Live. If not, though, if this doesn't work for you, no hard feelings. I love you. I'm thankful that you gave me this time. This is amazing. We still have 3 or 4 people jumping in here this whole time, and we're at like 2.5 hours. So I hope it wasn't too pitchy. I hope you got a lot of value out of it and you see the value behind it. Really hope to see you guys on the inside. But either way, enjoy your weekends. Get some time with family. Really spend some time like dialing in what it is that you want to do. If you copy this, it's going to dial it in for you like that. But if not, spend some time this weekend. Create from what you've consumed this week, right? Excuse me. I'm starting to lose my voice and get gummed up from 5 days of teaching. Take what you've learned over this 5 days and create this weekend. Create. If you're joining the program, it's created. So dive in and learn it and then implement what we learned from your first 100K. If you're doing it on your own, then this weekend, block in some time. Block in time with your family. Go on an adventure that you haven't been on. Spend some time like really getting a good, clear picture of what your life looks like. What are you trying to create? And then create something. Dial it in. Build a list. Build a dream board. Do something. Get a clear picture of what you're doing. And then pull the pieces out of the last 5 days and be like, I can use this. I can use this. I can use this. And just dial it in and run with it. I know you'll get success. Another reminder before we go, the recordings and everything will be removed from the group on Sunday evening or Monday morning. So make sure that you get caught up over this weekend. Check out vipbuyersclub.com/let's go. Join the program, but get caught up on the replays. Get access. Get the Trello boards copied. Make sure you don't miss out on anything. Because come Monday morning, I do switch gears and I head back to my first 100K community. And I really spend my time pouring into them. So I wish you all the best of luck. I hope to see you on the inside. Enjoy your weekends. And we will see you guys, hopefully, on the inside of your first 100K. Have a good one.